Welcome to the April 2010 webinar on Usability Best Practices for Mobile Retail Sites, presented by Usability Sciences. I'm your presenter today. My name is Todd Lucky. I'm the User Experience Manager here at Usability Sciences, and I've been conducting usability research for over the past 5 years now. In that time, I've conducted over 100 usability projects in countries all around the world. You'll notice in the center of your screen that's me enjoying some time off in the Andes Mountains after a project in South America. Here at Usability Sciences, we've been doing research for the past 20 years and work almost daily with Fortune 500 companies. Recently, our focus has been increasingly on mobile usability, and our phones have been ringing off the hook. We recently conducted some survey research on what smartphone users are doing when they visit mobile retail sites. All of this information and a bit of analysis available in our April newsletter, which is on usabilitysciences.com, where you can access archived newsletters and sign up for future newsletters. As you can see from the results here, we asked what people are trying to accomplish when visiting a shopping website on their phone. And the results showed that 87% were looking to find a store, 75% were looking to compare pricing, 69% were looking for product availability, and 46% were looking to purchase products. We then went further and wanted to find out what exactly are they buying. Again, you'll see that 43% purchase mobile apps, 42% purchase music and videos, 40% purchase event tickets, and 34% were purchasing clothing. After we conducted this research, we wanted to do a little bit more investigation and find out what were some of the issues that people were coming across and some of the best practices in some of the mobile websites available when people were comparison pricing, looking for product availability, purchasing, and looking for reviews. So we did a brief competitive study with 10 smartphone users. All of the users were tested on the iPhone, and we extrapolated some best practices from this research, as well as the other research we've been doing in our labs. If you joined us last month, you'll recall we discussed the first steps in getting into the mobile world and how you can determine who your mobile user is and therefore how to develop for them. We showed you methodologies such as survey research, contextual research, and comparative competitive analysis. As I showed you, we did a brief bit of survey research, and then we took it to the next level with our competitive analysis. And what we'll show you today are those best practices that we saw as it relates to the home page, navigational browsing, search, results listing, and product details page. Let's begin with the home page. Several users appreciated the branding on sites like Target and Overstock.com because the branding was consistent with the company's brand they had come to expect. On the other hand, users were disappointed with Nordstrom and Sears because the mobile sites did not reflect the experience they were accustomed to with these two brands. While branding was not the most important factor when users were shopping, it was helpful in letting users know that they were visiting a site that they were familiar with and the one they had intended to visit. This type of branding can make loyal customers feel comfortable when they arrive at your site. As users went through the process of locating a product, they generally started by searching. What we're seeing here is the American Eagle homepage displayed on the iPhone. As you can see, there's not the option to search. And many users overlooked the option because you had to scroll down the page. And you'll see down towards the bottom of the screen, there was the ability to search. However, as I mentioned, many users overlooked this because they did not search. And part of the reason that it was put down there may be because the ad at the top of the screen took up so much real estate. However, many of the other sites that we looked at displayed prominent search fields at the top of the page. And this is where users came to expect this type of information, mainly because this is where they have been trained to look on the PC sites. Search is typically located in the upper right-hand field. So one of the best practices that we saw is to locate a prominent and persistent search at the top of the screen. The other way users went about locating products was through category browsing. Some sites did not provide a clearly defined browse option on the home page, which meant users thought they were forced to use the search functionality even if they preferred to browse through the navigation. You see in the Walmart example here, there's not a noticeable option to browse by category or shop by category or anything like that. However, the option is available, And the reason people overlooked it is because it's labeled find rollbacks, which is internal lingo that none of the users understood. Another example of poorly displayed category browsing was on the Amazon site. As you can see here, we're looking at a display of the home page on the iPhone, and there's not an option here to browse by category or shop by category. Many of the users didn't notice this option because they had to scroll down the screen where it was displayed. The other issue that came into play was the label of this option. Here you can see that it's labeled Category Top Sellers. Again, this was a name that did not resonate with users, so they're dealing with two issues, the location and the label of their option. A couple of sites that did a good job of displaying their category browsing. One was Nordstrom, and you can see on their homepage they clearly give you the options to browse by categories. In addition to clearly displaying them, they have their options expanded by default so that when users arrive at the homepage, they could very quickly and easily select the category by which they wanted to shop. Another way to implement this type of category browsing is shown in the Best Buy example. And here you can see they have quite a bit of their homepage dedicated to the avatar ad here. And below it, they have the ability to browse by category. And since Best Buy had quite a few categories, they decided to tuck them into a drop-down menu. Many of users appreciated this, and they felt that this was a good way to include a large, extensive list of categories, but still provide it on the home page. And so these are two options that you can use to display your category browsing on your home page. Next, we'll move into how users interacted with navigational browsing, the things they liked and the things that they didn't like. With the Sears example, you can see they clearly have the option to shop by departments at the top of their home page. Once users selected this option, they're then presented with a second screen that gave a little bit of a longer list of categories from which users could select. Once users made their selection from this list, they were then presented with a third level. And on this level you see they have specialty shops, specialty sizes for clothing, and above they had men's and women's categories as well, and even some below that. Then, once users selected from this level, they were presented with a fourth level, where they got even more and narrower categories. And what we noticed was that users did not like going this many levels into a navigational browsing component. They wanted to see search results, and eventually they became frustrated as they got deeper and deeper and did not see these results, abandoned the process, and went to the search. Another example of this we saw on Target. Again, you can see they have a clear and prominent option to browse by categories at the top of their home page. Once you select that option, you're then selected with a longer list of categories. From there, you're presented with a third level, and from there, a fourth level again. And you can see with these categories, they have options such as ballet flats, blue and green, they had animal print, and very narrow categories. And users did not want to go this far in. They wanted to see their results a bit sooner. One site that did well was Overstock. You can notice at the top of the screen they have the option to browse. Once you select browse, you're then presented with some more broad and general categories. You select from there, you get another level of categories, and then another level before you're presented with your product results. Users really liked this way of displaying these broad subcategories and thought that they were more general in scope. The other thing that Overstock did was provide images for each category, which really helped communicate to the user what they were selecting. The only downside with this presentation that we see on Overstock is that the images were a bit too large and only allowed for 3 and maybe a 4th category to be displayed on the screen at once, and it required a lot of scrolling. If you do go with this type of implementation, try to reduce the size of those images so you can fit as many categories on the screen as possible and still give users a large area to select, either click or touch. The next area we'll look at is search. And earlier we mentioned that many users started the process of locating a product by searching. One of the things that we've noticed in our research is that searching on mobile sites is quite a bit different than searching on a PC or stationary site. The reason for this is that the keyboards are generally less functional, users are often in a hurry due to the context of their use, and they're also dealing with much smaller screens. As a result, their short search terms generally yield less relevant results. During our study, we had participants generally look for black dress shoes, and most of the participants entered terms such as shoes or black shoes. And a few people commented that they were afraid to enter anything larger for fear that they might produce relevant results, and one participant even said, "I'm afraid I might blow this up." After searching, some sites immediately displayed search results without giving users the ability to narrow down their list. And as you can see in the examples here, Sears provided, after searching, 32,000 results at one point. Norristown provided over 3,000, and while you can't see it on the Amazon site, there were 10 plus pages of results when you search for black dress shoes. As a result, users became very frustrated because they indicated they would not look through 32,000 results or 10 pages of results. They'd give up, either go elsewhere to a site that provided with them the ability to narrow down the results, or they might go to the PC site or abandon the process altogether. So next we'll look at some ways in which you can allow participants to narrow down their search results after they'd entered their term. Target did this. Once you performed a search, you were then presented with a screen to select where you would like to search. You could select your store or all stores in the Target site. The only issue we noticed with this was that A, you could only select one store as your store, and many users indicated that there was a chance they might have multiple Target stores, one near their home, one near their place of work, and one near other locations that they might visit frequently, and therefore they wanted the ability to select multiple stores as their store. The other main issue that we saw was that there's not the option to search at a store nearby. As we talked about last month, the context of use is very important, and generally mobile users are out and about and on the go, and they're not necessarily near their home or one of those places. They may be visiting a friend, they may be traveling and looking for a product, and then want to find the closest store to them. So this would be an important option to include. Once you make your selection as to where you would like to search, you're then presented with the ability to narrow down by category. And again, this was helpful. However, some participants did not like the fact that they were forced into this process of narrowing down, and they wanted to see their results. Another way to do this is shown by Best Buy. In here, after you perform your search, here we were looking for headphones, you had the ability to narrow your results at the top of the page. And while this was helpful, the narrow your results were expanded by default, and it caused many participants to overlook the fact that there were actually products displayed down lower on the page because it required them to scroll. Better implementation of this would be to display the narrow your results in a collapsed state by default. Therefore, the users would be able to see the products when they first came to the page. Another design that we saw was on Overstock. Here you can see that we searched for black dress shoes. We got our list of results with the ability to sort by relevance at the top. And there was also the ability to refine. However, due to its location, its display, users overlooked this option. A better location would have been down on the same level as the sort by, where users were expecting to find this type of option. Once users noticed the option and selected it, they were then presented with an extremely long list of options to narrow and refine their search. You can see here we have shoe sizes. As you scroll down further, you get price and colors, and then brands. Again, this was a very long list, and many users struggled to navigate through all of them to determine exactly how they wanted to refine. A better implementation would be to show all the categories once you select to refine, again in a collapsed state, and allow the user to select which option they wanted to narrow by. The most common categories we saw were size, price, brand, style or categories, clearance, new products, top sellers, and highest rated. However, your options will likely be dictated by the products for which the user are searching or which you currently use on your PC site. Another interesting thing that we saw was search optimization on these sites. Generally, the mobile site was not optimized in the same way as the PC site. You can see with Target, we search for shoes within the men's section. On the PC site, we perform the same search. However, the results were very different. On the mobile site, we got socks. On the PC site, we got a listing of men's shoes. Today we're not going to go into how to optimize your internal search, but we have a feeling you've put in a lot of work and effort into optimizing your PC internal search engine. And the same algorithms and meta tags and that type of information that you use on your PC site should carry over to your mobile site. We'll show you a couple other examples of this. The next is on Urban Outfitters. Again, here on the mobile site we searched for black dress shoes. We did the same search on the PC site, and you can see on the mobile site we got black dresses, on the PC site we got shoes. Another example of this was Walmart. We searched on the mobile site and we searched on the PC site. We performed the same search for shoes, and on the mobile site we got a listing of roller skates initially, and on the PC site we got shoes. So in summary, all the time and effort you spent into optimizing the internal search on your PC site should also be used, and the same best practice should apply to your mobile site. Users are going to expect the same quality from both. After users went through the process of browsing through the navigation or searching, they arrived at a results listing page. And the following are the most important things users wanted to see on the results listing page. The first was price. And price is one of, if not the most important factor when shopping. So you can see Amazon, Sears, and Nordstrom all displayed the price on the results page. Sears and Amazon had items on sale, and users appreciated seeing how much they were receiving. However, they didn't want this information to occupy too much space, as it does on the Sears site. Amazon was able to fit this information onto one line, whereas Sears occupied 3 lines, and therefore they were barely able to fit 2 products onto the results page when viewing with the iPhone. The other important information that participants wanted to see was a brief description. You can see here on Target, Amazon, and Overstock, they each provide a brief description in the product name. So with Target, you can see that they're looking for thong sandals that are made out of white patent leather. They're made for girls. On the Amazon site, you see that we're looking at a men's Oxford shoe made by Cable & Company. And then on the Overstock site, we're looking at a women's black dress pant made by Nikki. Users appreciated this brief description. They didn't need anything more than this, because if they were interested in the product, they indicated they would simply select the item and go to the product detail page to gather that additional information. Another thing participants wanted to see were ratings on the result listing page. Here we can see that Amazon, Overstock, and Target all provided ratings for their products when they were available. Another best practice here, in addition to providing the ratings, is to provide the number of ratings that have been submitted. Users indicated that a rating display, such as that seen on Overstock, was more insignificant if it didn't indicate the number of reviews that had been provided. They put much more weight into products that had received a higher number of reviews. So the product that's displayed with 15 reviews, they would trust more than a product that only received 1 or 2 reviews. And the final thing that participants wanted to see on the results listing page was availability. Here we can see Amazon and Target both display some indication as to the availability of products. You see with Amazon in the first product, they indicate that it's in stock. With the second product down, they let you know that there's only 1 left in stock. And therefore, if you're interested in that product, you might want to take advantage of it quickly. With Target, they let you know where it was sold. They have brick and mortar stores, and they also have their online store. Here it's indicating to you that it's only online, and there's really no need to go to the store to try to look for it because you're not going to be able to find it. They would also indicate if it was online, in the store, or at your store if you had provided that type of information. The last area that we'll focus on today was the product details page. And here an important consideration is the layout of the page. We'll see with the Sears example that their page layout was extremely long, and users were frustrated by the length because they felt that a lot of the information contained on this page was irrelevant. Additionally, there was too much space between the various options. They showed the product image at the top of the page where they could also see the price. However, then they had to scroll down through the savings information to find the ability to select their size. They then had to scroll even further down through the special offers to find the ability to change their quantity, select the delivery mechanism, and add it to their cart. Another long page layout that we saw was at Amazon.com. Again, you see they have a good product image at the top of the screen, they have a brief description in the title, they provide you with ratings and price. Then down below that you can select your size and color and add it to your cart. The issue we saw here was users wanted a description because they only saw a single product image and needed more information to make a decision. However, they did not initially notice that this information was available because it appeared down below the page fold. Additionally, when users saw the ratings at the top of the page, they tried to touch it and select it to get more information about the reviews that have been submitted. They did not realize that these reviews were down at the bottom of the page below the product details and therefore overlooked it frequently. One of the best page layouts that we saw was Overstock, and the reason for this was it provided all of the relevant information above the page fold. Here we can see they have a good product image. They have the name and description of the product, ratings, price, the ability to select quantity, add it to the cart, and you can change the options, which were the size and color and things like that. However, the label of this option was not clear. In addition, you see that they have the ability to select product description. Again, it's above the page fold, and while you don't necessarily get the details of the product, you do have a clear and prominent option to select product description as well as product reviews. After users selected product description, they were taken to another page which gave them the detailed information. And overall, users really appreciated this feature because it allowed for a clean and concise product detail page, but it still gave them the ability to access detailed information. Then, after they were done reading the information, they were able to select the back button in the upper right hand corner and return to the product details page. The other, and maybe one of the most important factors on the product detail page, was the images that were used. You can see on Amazon and most of the sites that we've seen today, there's only one product image. And users found this very frustrating, especially if they were trying to locate a product of interest, and definitely when trying to buy a product. Many times they indicated when they were in the store they like to pick up products and look at it from all angles to really get a good idea of what the product looked like. They indicated that they had purchased things online before, not been able to see the back or the bottom of a product, and therefore they were surprised when it arrived. So offering multiple product images is very important. Users really liked the Target site because they gave them multiple images and they were able to view products from all angles, as you can see here. This made it much easier for users to understand whether or not they'd want to purchase a product online and actually move forward with the purchasing process. In summary, users are basically going to expect the same functionality and experience that they are accustomed to on a PC site, just a little more stripped down. They're going to want to see brand recognition, a prominent search, an optimized search, clear, concise navigation, results with a brief description, price, ratings, and availability, as well as a succinct product page with multiple images of the product. The same best practices apply to mobile sites as PC sites for the most part, so don't change the paradigm. This presentation is really just scraping the surface of all the information that we've collected during this study and past studies that we've been conducting here in our labs. And we'd love to take a little bit of time and go deeper into your site if you have one, or just talk to you about the other results that we've come across. You can contact us at info@usabilitysciences.com, or you can call us at 800-820-1222. Thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate your attendance.